I don't even have anything prepared. I don't really know what the hell to say. Like, I don't even give him the passwords to the Twitter. Like, how does he find a way to upload something on YouTube? This is... I need to pull out the big guns. I need my sensei back.
I'm in.
Oh my god. It is great to see you.
It's great to see you.
Oh, how you been? How's retirement? How's the kids? How's Linda?
You know, me and Linda are divorced, but we'll probably get back together again in no time. The kids are good. Retirement's great. There's always sunshine. There's always rainbows. What more could you ask for?
I mean, that's what I say. What more could you ask for? But yeah, the tournament's going good.
Yeah. The one time I'm not in the comments section is when PWO takes over, but you know.
Yeah. I hacked the stream one time. It was cool. Derrick didn't have Wi-Fi because of me.
You know, when you're a small startup, you gotta roll with the punches.
Yeah.
This is all just character. It all makes us look good.
He'll be I'll let him get Wi-Fi again one day, but I'm having fun just having him not have turn in his assignments. That's also me. I'm the reason that he doesn't turn in assignments, not him.
Yeah, no. He's a diligent person. He would never.
Yeah, what a lad. I don't know. But there's been stuff sort of going on with the news and the other stuff, you know?
Yeah.
Like President Sleepy, apparently. Trump, maybe. Who's to say?
Yeah.
Because that's what he does all day now. He just sleeps because he's just like, I'll never be in this bed again. Do you think he'll get to keep the mattress?
This is an interesting thing. Like, how much of the White House do you like? Is that mattress just like multiple presidents have been in the same mattress, or is it like January 20th somebody goes to like a mattress firm and picks up a new one?
And where's the old mattress go? Like, does it go to the Smithsonian? Does it go to their presidential library?
It goes back to the mattress firm. It's part of that whole mattress firm conspiracy theory where they're just.
I figured it out. It goes to that hotel near me. That's where the presidential suite is. That's why they call it that.
That's right. Yeah, but they're presidential suites because it's all stuff from previous presidents.
Yeah, like JFK owned this lamp. This Bible was actually Abraham Lincoln's. These dirty sheets are actually the effects of Andrew Johnson. Is that which one's Andrew Johnson?
I don't know.
I know Andrew Jackson's the guy on the 20. I don't know who picked and can we get new presidents and Ben Franklin on the money. I think it'd be nice to change it up.
They've wanted Andrew Jackson off of the $20 bill for a while now because of how I think it was he like was not a good person.
None of those people were good persons.
But like Andrew Jackson is especially not a good person, and like at least George Washington like contributed and like did some stuff in the Revolutionary War times. Andrew Jackson didn't do anything. I know people want. I think the idea has been replace Andrew Jackson with Harriet Tubman for the 20, and that's kind of gone nowhere, especially in the last 4 years because of President Sleepy. He's been sleeping on that idea.
I see what you did there. But like, why does George Washington get the quarter and the two closest things? Because no one uses it. No, sorry, JFK, no one's using a $50 coin. And so sorry, Sacagawea, no one's using the dollar coin.
Did you ever have golden dollars when you were a kid?
Yeah, because the train.
Yeah. But, I also had that map you can get that had holes for every state quarter.
Yes, we had, my sister and I each had one of them.
Yeah, that was a good like project for myself at age 9, just to try to get every quarter.
Yeah, it's weird that it went from like 99 to like 2013. Like, what a process.
Yeah. It went on for way longer than you would expect.
Like we're gonna tell our kids, and they're gonna be like, "You kept quarters," and it's just gonna be like, "Yeah, but these were important quarters." And like, if they had the eagle on them, you would throw them in the garbage, and if they had Massachusetts on them, you'd say, "Oh, damn it, I already got this one." If it said Arizona, you'd be like, "Oh, I need this one." And to anybody,
if you would keep the ones that have the D on it, because that meant they were minted in Denver. It's Denver. It was Denver and Philadelphia, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That was the other big thing too, is that if you had to look for the P or the D on them, see where they came from.
Yeah, because everyone knows the old famous economic city of Denver. That's where Hamilton actually wanted to move the capital to, but he was just like, I can't, because we don't own that yet. We haven't pillaged our way out west that far.
We haven't unlocked the DLC for America yet.
That's what the Louisiana Purchase really was. It was to get Denver, Colorado. It was just like, we'll take New Orleans and Denver, and you can have the rest. There's a funny meme where like all the states that voted red were the Louisiana Purchase, and it was just like, we can just give this back to France. And I was just like, no, we can't, because who else am I going to yell at? Like, I can't yell at Ohio if they're not part of the same country. It's tongue in cheek if I yell at Ohio if it's a different country. Like, if I yelled at like Portugal, I might start a war by accident.
To be fair, when do we pay attention to Ohio?
Ohio State football.
I mean, okay, so we're so outside of sports, because you get, well, even the sports is weak because it's Ohio State football. You have to really care about the Bengals and the Browns in order to make a case for that. Cavs don't have LeBron anymore. Cavs have no one, as far as they have Kevin Love and a bunch of miscreants.
They have Kevin Love and a bunch of mid-carders. The Reds? No. The Cleveland
and the Cleveland, we should probably change our name since Washington changed their name.
The Cleveland baseball team. That sounds worse, though.
That sounds great.
like now pitching for the Cleveland baseball team. Like, I would love it. I think the Washington football team knows exactly what it's doing if instead of having an announcer, they just have an announcer say Washington, and then they have a fantastic computer say football team, as if to like overdub. Now introducing the Washington football team.
How long do you think they're going to keep the name? Because it sounds like, because they don't want to lose money on all the merch they've made this year, they're going to keep it for a while. while they consider a new name?
2025.
5 years of Washington football team.
I mean, it's working. People seem to love it.
I would love a world where, like, if somehow Washington gets good enough to, like, win the Super Bowl, in like 40 years, there's going to be a trivia night, and it's going to be like, you know, who won the Super Bowl in whatever year, and somebody's going to write down the football team and be correct.
Yeah, it's going to be like 10 friends who like all really like theater, and they're just like, shit, this wasn't around. And they're just like, what if we just write down football team? And they're just like, you idiot. No, it's going to be something. It's got to be like an animal or something. And they're just like, yeah, what animal? And they're just like, let's just write down football team. And like that's the question that they win on. It's like that episode of The Office where there's the where they go to a gay bar, and they're
Right.
like the bad team, it ends up winning because like they know all of the weird questions.
That's how most trivia goes, though. Back when that was a thing.
I mean, it's still a thing, am I right?
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah. I keep the belt nearby just in case I need to remind myself of the champion I once was.
Champion, you still are in here. I've got a little pocket inside, and I say, "Who has been a champion?" And that's how Devoid statistics stays relevant.
Goodness gracious!
But yeah, could you imagine if, like, in any other sport, like, let's say the Chiefs lose the Super Bowl to the Washington football team, because that is a possibility technically, because I think the Washington football team still has a shot at winning the NFC East. Like, what if Andy Reid just like, nah, recount, like rescore? Like, in any other circumstance, like recounting or rescoring doesn't make sense. But like, imagine if the runner-up for American Idol was just like on live air. No, I would like there to be a recount actually.
How does that process work? Because the American, like, I remember like in American Idol, it was like
you had to call and you had to press like a number.
You had to call, you had to press a number. You could do that up to 10 times
per line. That was the thing. Is that like my parents each had a cell phone and their house phone. So my sister would use that 30 times to vote for Sanjaya.
I miss Sanjaya. Is he okay?
I wonder what Sanjaya is doing. Like,
can we get him on the pod? Do you think that's low grade enough celebrity tier to like?
Whoa, we had Griff Garrison, which you should check out that interview.
Yeah, I saw bits and pieces of it. I haven't dived in fully yet, but
Griff Garrison,
that was awesome.
Wonderful guy. He will be a big star one day, and we can exploit that.
What is Griff Garrison's ceiling? Do you think? Like, not to be like rude to a guest on the pod. Like, I think
friend of the channel, my personal close friend Griff Garrison.
Yeah.
I think his ceiling legitimately. This isn't a slight actually because of AEW. I think he could be AEW tag team champion or trios champion.
Yeah, because he's working with Brian Pillman Jr.
Pillman Jr. And now they have a team named the Varsity Blondes. The callback to the Hollywood Blondes, which is Brian Pillman Jr. Brian Pillman
and Stone Cold.
Yeah, I was going to say Brian Pillman Jr.'s dad, and I was just like, that's just Brian Pillman. But yeah, it's like insane that Brian Pillman isn't like, he's like not in like the 2K games. Like, why wouldn't you want that?
Isn't it like an Owen Hart situation where there's probably people who don't really want his likeness associated with WWE?
But he didn't die because of WWE. He might have.
it's hard to that it's. I mean, the Owen Hart thing is more overt, but I think
the Owen Hart thing is tragic, and I'm after watching The Dark Side of the Ring, I was just like, I understand why yeah. Yeah, and it makes more sense because like there was talks about that the only reason Bret Hart like came back to WWE is so he could have his library, and I wonder if he did that so he could also have access to Owen's library because that family would not talk. I bet Owen Hart's widow would like kill to have a WrestleMania match with Vince McMahon where she gets to just not do anything but have everybody from the Hart family destroy him with a chair. We should save the wrestling for maybe the wrestling podcast though. This is like the early days of Derrick and I.
Yeah, this is
yeah. So 2020 is almost over. We're in the final chapter of 2020, or so we think, because I think the secret leap month of
all those memes of like December 32nd or
yeah, it will happen. No, it's going to be the first of a new month, and it's going to suck. I've been saying for a while, there is no law that says that we all as a planet can't just say it's not July 1st, 2021 tomorrow. Like if we all just say it is, who is going to say that we're wrong? Like if we collectively as a species are just like tomorrow is the January 1st, like I can't anymore.
Yes, I mean it's just hard to get billions of people on the same page.
Okay. Backed Up by Queen will be a song. And yeah. And Paul McCartney. It'll be a Live Aid event, and and then there'll be a big New Year's, and then ta-da! Because like, who wouldn't want that? Because like, besides Freddie Mercury, who from Live Aid is really not here anymore?
Oh wow. Well, who did Live Aid other than Freddie Mercury?
I'm pretty sure McCartney, Clapton, Van Morrison, who has released some anti-lockdown anthems.
Van Morrison has.
Yeah, and he's released 3 of them, and he's releasing another one soon at time of recording. Okay. And they're all bad, and I'm not going to link to them, but I've heard 3 of them. They're all bad songs, but some of them are just bad lyrically. And like, if you were like to listen to the instrumental, it'd be like, all right. But like some of them, oh my God, are just bad songs. Like they're just bad musically, lyrically, structurally.
What's the best quarantine music that you've discovered?
I'll link it in the description of the YouTube video. If you're an audio listener, come on. Bernie Sanders 8.5 hour filibuster, but it's lo-fi.
I've heard about that.
It's really good, I swear. Like, it's really good. It's a little mundane because, like, you're half an hour in, you're just like, all right, this is probably almost over, and you're just like, nope, I'm in the first half hour of 8.5 hours. Like, once
you look at the YouTube progress bar, and it hasn't even like moved that much. It's just
it's still like much more towards the beginning.
I consider myself to be a person that tries to listen to as much different music as possible. I discovered Wolfpack during quarantine, and that was cool. They have a great live show at Madison Square Garden that they did in 2019 that they have all on YouTube, the whole show. In regards to like music that was made like during quarantine, like artists in their kind of like, isolation or whatever. I mean, Taylor Swift wins, just wins.
I don't listen to Taylor Swift, not because like, oh my God, I can't listen to Taylor Swift. That would be too weird. Yeah. I've never liked any of her music, like, except for What is the one song? See, I don't even know. Romeo and Juliet or Juliet?
The one song is Love Story.
Haha! That's sure. Just because of the build. Like,
yeah.
Like, I mean, come on. I don't know any of the lyrics to that song. I used to like. It's not Blanket Secret, but it's very close. Blank Space?
Yeah, Blank Space.
It was acronym. But even that song is BS now.
There's a song on Taylor's new album called Betty, and it has a similar type of build that Love Story does, except it's more acoustic because that's the kind of aesthetic that she went to with the album. But it has the same type of chord change like into the last chorus of the song that makes everything just feel like, you know, a rise to the top of the mountain.
I lied. I'm a pretty big fan of Mean. If Mean's on, I'll give it a bop. But that's not even Taylor Swift. Like, Taylor Swift from the beginning and Taylor Swift now are like different artists, and not even in a bad way. Like, it's because people change. Because like people can say like Taylor Swift used to be country and now she's pop. That's bad. And it's just like if you've ever listened to a Beatles album after 1965, pretty sure that Revolver could be a variety of genres, and that's one album. So
yeah,
and like the White Album is cheating because it's 2 albums, but
the White Album is cheating because it's just a mess of good things, but it's a good mess.
All right, I said it a while ago, maybe not on the podcast, but hot take.
Attention shoppers, hot take alert.
The White Album, besides for While My Guitar Gently Weeps, has no culturally relevant songs.
Culturally relevant?
Yes. Not saying that they're not good. There are some that aren't, but that's going to be on every album, that opinions. But there's no culturally relevant song. Like, no one's yearning to hear songs on the White Album who already don't like the Beatles. And I can say this.
So back in the USSR?
I don't think any 16-year-old who like thinks that they found the Beatles is just like, you gotta hear this song, man.
Birthday.
No, that's not even a good birthday song. Like the Stevie,
but it's a song that you can search out because it's
the Stevie Wonder birthday song is better than that.
I'm not saying that it's we're not talking about like better. I'm just saying
you're right. No, and trust me, I worked at a camp that every day it was a camper or a staff member's birthday, they would play that damn song. And I was just like, this song isn't good at all. It is just the alternative to, I hate singing Happy Birthday. Can we sing something else, please?
Okay, all right. I got my last ditch as to defend the White Album, just in regards to this take. Obla Di Obla Da.
That is one of the worst songs I've ever heard in my life. Okay, I'm gonna retract 2 songs, which is fair because it's 2 albums. Blackbird. I forgot that Blackbird was on the White Album. That is on me. Blackbird is a culturally relevant song, but those 2 are it. And for one of the greatest bands of all time, if one of your most famous albums, because you only did like 70 of them, only has 2 relevant songs, it's not a good album.
I think I've heard of plenty of albums that don't have like a culturally relevant like hit, but are still considered like good.
But the album themselves, not the songs on them.
Wait, like the songs on them, like there's
because Sgt. Pepper is like an iconic. But I wouldn't say the White Album is iconic. I just say that it changed the game. Not even being revolutionary. I would just say it changed the game.
I think the White Album is more about like the lore of the Beatles, because that's when things are at their most tumultuous, and Yoko Ono is, you know, making the vibes weird depending on who you ask, and John's doing this, you know, number nine madness, and you can, I mean, it's that kind of like tension that I guess is like that creates like a, you know, a specific feeling about the album, because it's wrapped up in that that like storytelling.
I mean, I get it. I understand, but like I feel like more like Abbey Road. I listen to the crap out of that song.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the album. There's no song called Abbey Road.
That's what you think, but there's definitely a song out there called Abbey Road talking about the album that they loved as a child so much. Abbey Road.
Just a song professing the love for a Beatles album. That's fair.
Or a song professing a love named someone unfortunately named Abbey Road because their parents were such big Beatles fans.
Does that mean their middle name is Road, or they changed the last name to Road?
No, the last name was already Road.
Ah.
But like it's like RODE or like ROADE, so like it makes it's like
so you could go the Dusty Road route and go RHODE.
No. Ugh. Love you, Cody, but what a shitty last name to fight over. Like I get it, like I don't have a dad anymore either, but like ugh. Like not really trying to get the rights to Lawrence Pellegrini. Yikes.
What's a last name that just is like immediately like not a good last name?
Jobs. Well, think about
I think about all those last names that are just first names but have like a
S
at the end. Johnson, Davidson,
Peterson.
Yeah, like it's just
Davidson.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, it's like just all of those like that. Those are just lazy. You like do better, you know.
Yeah, like Davids or Peters or Johns.
Samson.
Yeah, but that's Sampson.
Yeah, no one's actually named Samp. Unless.
This is a pact to name our kids Samp out of spite.
This is my son, Samp.
That's right, everybody. We're officially announcing a coalition adoption. If you know a baby in an unsafe home, you can have a 22-year-old and a yep, I know your age. We can adopt a baby. We might not have a full-time job at a real job, but we definitely have jobs. Working at universally known places due to song and notoriety.
This is just a desperate attempt for us to get more members in the coalition. We've gone so low, we're just recruiting from orphanages.
Hey kids, who wants to be a part of coalition? It's like, what's that? It's just like, have you ever heard of specifically Devoid? And we're just like, I'm tired. And we have to wait. We have to wait for the internet. Because we came at nap time, so we have to like come back another day.
Yeah.
And then we're just like, hey kids, and they're just like, who are you? And we're just like, we were just here yesterday. And they were just like, remember that guy had a stain on his shirt? And I was just like, I told you I should have changed. And you were just like, no, I didn't think anybody would notice it. And I was just like, well, that apparently someone did notice it. And it's a child. Don't you hate it when that happens?
Yeah.
And who says I can't act? Davidson. Yeah, Davidson.
Davidson.
Okay, this is a real question. Do you think there is a future, because capitalism exists, where you can buy embryos? like from like behind, not over the counter, duh. Like not like you can buy Tylenol, but like you get a prescription to buy this because so many people are selling them because they need money because of economic distress.
I think it would be a very specific doctor doing a very specific prescription for somebody.
Right, because I feel like probably not this easily, but I feel like you could just go to a sperm bank and buy sperm. Why couldn't you do the same with embryo or eggs? But more
Because,
commercially.
well, I mean, if we've learned anything about the United States political proceedings, it's that women's parts are very important to old white men, and they must be fought over at all times.
Hey, that's my right to fight over the right to party.
Is that how that song goes?
Ah, yes, the famous song. We will filibuster so you do not have the chance to vote for our right to party. And then they come in, they're like, we're going to fight for our right to party. And then they filibuster the filibuster. And then the Senate. Do you think there's a meme of Mitch McConnell saying, I am the Senate now? And if not, can we just throw that up, future edit? Thanks.
Okay, so like I asked this. This is something that I've been thinking of. It's professional wrestling based, but I want to like just throw this out there.
Okay, and then we're not talking about wrestling anymore.
Currently, professional wrestling, like its big thing is like looking at the ratings and like what they mean. And there's a lot of analysis on like the internet about ratings and quarterly demographics. What other television show or like anywhere do people care about ratings this much, or is it just wrestling nerds? Like what other like thing can you think of?
Well, there was the thing on that Fox released about their Thanksgiving game where like 33 and some odd million people watched the Fox Thanksgiving game.
But I get that like companies will like throw their numbers out there, but like I'm talking about like fan bases, like what fan base cares about ratings as much as wrestling folk?
I mean, we've sort of had this conversation off air for a very long time. We had about like what fan base cares about like contract signings and stuff.
Yeah.
And it just keeps coming back to football. I think football fans sort of, because like I know they're general sports, but like ESPN First Take and like the Shannon Sharp and Skip Bayless show, like they maybe not about ratings, but like they definitely say like there's been drop off in ratings for college football, and there's been drop for since like Colin Kaepernick stuff.
Yeah, that's true. Like there was a big look at the ratings drop because of Kaepernick. The NBA had a ratings drop because of their bubble. And some people wanted to say that the NBA had a ratings drop because of their Black Lives Matter.
Like the jerseys, like saying whatever the fuck they wanted to.
They said that was the reason for the ratings drop, and it was really just because nobody really wanted to watch basketball in a bubble without a crowd. I guess I know that. Yeah, so I guess it really just is. It might just be a sports thing in that sense, which is just it's so weird.
It's very strange. I mean,
because I don't have cable. Like,
oh, we do, but like I don't watch it. Like, I think I only watch regular TV for sports.
Yeah, that's about it. Honestly, like I can't think of why would I want to watch Property Brothers for 12 hours on HGTV and pay like $80 a month for that ability.
Yeah, I feel like YouTube TV, it's like $50 too. Like yours.
Those prices are slightly getting higher, but they're still like worth it if you really want like that kind of stuff.
The only reason like companies like Verizon's a bad example, but like DirecTV and Xfinity exists is because of their internet.
Yeah.
Because like that's what you really need. Like if you have like a strong like bandwidth in your house and not too many devices, and like all these streaming services, you'll spend a lot less money doing it. And like I had a cousin for like years, like back in like 2011, was just like, yeah, I don't have a TV. Like I don't have TV. I don't have cable. I was just like, what? But like, how do you watch shows? You just like the internet, like
yeah.
And I was just like, well, you're missing out on all this stuff. And he's just like, what stuff isn't on the internet? I was like, what? Like,
yeah,
I couldn't handle that back then, and like now I get it.
Yeah, it's been a long time coming, but like it's finally there, and especially with like everybody posting on the internet. I remember when I was a kid, like making sure I knew how my VCR worked, because that was my gateway to recording stuff. But if I ever miss anything, it's archived somewhere on the internet now.
Yeah, now it's archived on Hulu. You only have to wait like 3 months for Netflix for stuff.
Hulu was revolutionary because it was like I can get an episode of TV the day after, like sometimes even hours after, because if you stayed up late at night, you could refresh Hulu at midnight and like Family Guy would be up there already, and you could be like, it's only been 3 hours.
Yeah, there was like a span of time where I only it was back in like 2015, but like you could watch like NXT from Hulu, and like that's how I sort of watched NXT a little bit.
Yep.
But I did watch Main Event maybe a couple of years ago, but we're not talking about wrestling. But Hulu is like now, like that's going to be merged with Disney Plus now. It's gotta.
Well, you have that that 3-way deal where you get ESPN Plus, Disney Plus, and Hulu for like $13 a month for all 3 of them.
Which isn't bad, but like ESPN Plus, like what are you really gonna do with ESPN Plus?
You get access to all the 30 for 30 documentaries, which is pretty solid because there's some good documentaries in there. That's about it. If you really care about sports analysis, there's like the Detail series that Kobe Bryant started. I think Kobe did it. Peyton Manning did it for football.
Daniel Cormier does it for MMA.
I think so, yeah. So like there's that kind of stuff. I recommend it for the documentaries. Because 30 for 30s are, when they're good, they're good. And I think one of my favorite ones was I think it's the one about the day that OJ was running away from the cops in his white Bronco. I think it's like June 17th, 1994, or some day around that time. But like multiple sports things were happening at the same time while OJ was being chased by cops in a white Bronco.
Famously, the NBA finals were happening, and that was put down into a little box so you could watch the OJ chase.
Yep, but it was also there was also golf happening that day. There was, I think it was like Arnold Palmer's last game or something like that, or Jack Nicklaus or something.
Oh, maybe, honestly. Arnold Palmer, I think that's ringing a bell.
Yeah, and then there was something, I think there was hockey happening at that time too. There was, I mean, it's just kind of, it's like just fascinating to like see, just to like, because like it's not like an impressive documentary and like how it was made or anything, but it's just, there was so much happening, and for it to just be like all stitched together to be like,
oh yeah,
one thing. So here we go. Arnold Palmer played his final round at the 1994 U.S. Open, the commencement of the 1994 FIFA World Cup, hosted by the United States for the first time, the New York Rangers celebrating their win in the 1994 Stanley Cup Finals with a parade. The parade took place earlier in the day, and then Game 5 of the 1994 NBA Finals. And then Ken Griffey Jr. tied Babe Ruth's record for most home runs before June 30th.
Ooh.
So I guess that before the end of June. So all of these things happen at the same time, more or less, or like during the day, while OJ gets chased by cops in a white Bronco.
Oh, silly OJ, making it all about you.
Do you have no memory of OJ as a football player, right? Because I don't.
I wasn't alive.
I wasn't alive either, but like,
Yeah,
it's just, you talk about like celebrities and like how they like change over time depending on how long they're like in the business for. Like, there's so many people like that. Like, I remember George Foreman as a grill salesman before a boxer.
yeah.
I'm sure people will remember. I don't know. I think about like how like I'm gonna get older and somebody's gonna be like, like, why am I buying this air fryer that has Channing Tatum's name on it? I'm just like, well, Channing Tatum was a very famous actor in 21 Jump Street, and it's gonna be like, no, he's an air fryer salesman or whatever.
That's not why he's famous. He's not famous because of 21 Jump Street. That's not his like claim to fame.
Is it Magic Mike then?
No, he was in the Amanda Bynes movie, 12th Night, but in high school. She's the Man. That's what it's called. Boom! Thought of it on my head.
Jeez. You're gonna say that Channing Tatum's success was for He's the Man? She's the Man, right?
She's the man. She's the man. Don't you forget it. That's funny because She's the Man also is a funny tagline for Kamala Harris because the man being the government.
The man being the cop that pulls you over for your quarter ounce of weed.
Hey, that's my. I only have an eighth. This other eighth is my friend's. And together we can legally have this much weed. My sister and I were driving the other day, and like there's a recreational pot shop opening up like half a mile down the road.
Yeah.
And we had no idea. Because it's on the border of our town and the neighboring city. And so obviously my town had like nothing to do with it. But like it was just like we would like to know. Like this seems like it's gonna create a ton of traffic problems for us.
Yeah. There's 3 in my town, which I didn't know was legal, but why not? And
3 of them being legal, or just them and all being legal?
3 of them being legal. I thought there was a certain thing where you can have more than a certain amount per town, but
I think it might be area, or are they all near each other?
Yeah. Why are dispensaries like the cleanest places on earth?
Because they really don't want anybody to shut them down for any reason because there's already stigma for shutting them down.
They have this really interesting aesthetic of like everything's white, like the floor is white, the walls are white. They have the soft yellow lights, and then like accents of green all over the place because marijuana is green.
Yeah. That reminds me that there was like a startup like a year, probably 2 years ago, of a Kevin Smith television show all about him running his fictional character running a weed shop. And like it was gonna get kickstarted for like 10 episodes and nothing came of it. And it's like free on YouTube. It was pretty funny, honestly. As someone who does not indulge in marijuana, like I was just like, this is pretty funny.
But is it Kathy Bates's Netflix stoner sitcom funny?
No.
What is that called? Disjointed?
I couldn't tell you.
Who did I have a conversation with Disjointed about? That wasn't anybody here.
You were probably part of it.
I was probably part of it, yeah.
So somebody here.
It was probably just at work or something. We just talked about how terrible it was. I've never seen an episode of it, but like I remember seeing a trailer for it and being like, "That looks god awful." And then
but I like bad things. Like I watched a on-aired pilot on YouTube again because a lot of people are just like, "Here's my work. It didn't get picked up, but here it is." from comedian Chris Stefano of Girl Code and Guy Code fame.
Okay.
And he also has a podcast with Sal Volcano now.
Okay.
And I released an episode. And it's called DeStefano. And like he came to our former alum City State Community College at City State during spring weekend my freshman year.
Yeah.
So like I have like a personal connection to him, I think, because I shouted at him and he shouted back. Because I shouted at him, "Hey, is Keith Davidson really that funny?" Because I had friends who were just like, "Oh, I want to ask him," because he did like a Q&A essentially for like a portion of his show, and he did pick us because. I mean, who doesn't have a question for the guy famous for Girl and Guy Code? But yeah, so I yelled out, "Hey, is Pete Davidson really that funny?" And he just turns around and he shouts back, "Yeah, he's funny as fuck," and then continues going to his car.
That's about as high praise as you can get from one comedian to another. Funny as fuck.
I mean, and I know Derrick doesn't like Pete Davidson that much, but I mean, I saw Pete Davidson live. Yeah, he's not the greatest, but like, there's a lot worse stand-up comedians. Like Pete Davidson.
I've always enjoyed him. I think I don't know. I mean, he's around my age, so like the stuff that he's experienced and like we've experienced it at the same time. So like we're it is that way. But like I don't know, like the way that he carries himself, like he's able to get away with not having the best delivery and not having the best presence. And like it just works for him.
When a joke didn't land, he would just like yell into the microphone, "I'm working on it." But like he seems to have a good relationship with like Adam Sandler and Bill Burr and other prominent comedians from the New England area.
That's what I've always noticed is like, I kind of pay attention to like the older comedians who will praise a younger comedian, because then you're just kind of like, okay, so if the older guys respect this new guy, like, when John Mulaney takes Pete Davidson under his wing and they, go on their little adventures together, you're kind of like, okay, so like this means something, because these are people who are held in high regard, and these are the people they're held in high regard as like the next generation or whatever.
Yeah, I'm somewhat of a stand-up comedy snob. Like I had a big phase of my life where I would listen to a slew of stand-up comedians, and I found John Mulaney before it was cool.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, that's one of my few claims to fame. I own his sitcom on Amazon, and boy, is it terrible. If you've seen Seinfeld, just imagine that being John Mulaney in every aspect, and nail on the head. Starts with a stand-up thing. Sometimes there's stand-up things in the middle. It's based in New York. He's got friends. There's one friend that nobody likes. There's a woman. I mean,
I remember like just seeing ads for it on Fox and being like, that's something I won't watch. And
that was something that I was just like, I will watch this, and I will not like it, but I have watched the first episode, and I am too invested already, because I was like 15 years old, and it didn't run for very long, and I'm okay being like the one person who enjoyed it. And if I ever meet him in real life, I will say, "Are you ever going to do another sitcom?" And he'll probably say, "No."
He is. Apparently, they're doing more sack lunch bunch stuff.
See, that was weird. Because there was only a couple things of that I liked. I liked Grandma's Boyfriend Paul.
Yeah.
Because a friend of the channel, Paul. I just found that really funny. Like, that's all I could imagine is that, like, John Mulaney's grandma and, like, 1986's boyfriend is my good friend Paul. I just find that very funny. I didn't like the Jake Gyllenhaal stuff.
That's fair. It's a particular taste.
Yeah.
Jake Gyllenhaal just went for it, and when you get that, you either gotta like it or not like it.
I think Netflix with comedy has kind of just been like, people are going to watch this because somehow Netflix has a reputation for having good stand-up, but not really good originals. Because, like, I can only think of, like, Stranger Things and The Queen's Gambit, two things I have not seen ever, but I'm going to start watching The Queen's Gambit, I tell myself every day. But they don't really have good originals that everyone likes. Because I know a lot of people who don't like Big Mouth because they're just like, it's too weird. Like, can they not?
I need to try Big Mouth. Netflix's thing is they've invested in when they invest in names, it works. So like when they invest in stand-up comedians because their name has recognition, or they create name recognition, like with Hannah Gatsby, like they signed this person to a Netflix deal, and now they are famous because they are Netflix. And then when it comes to like shows and movie content, it's like if they can get the names on there, like, you know, Spike Lee has a movie that's coming out on Netflix. David Fincher, Charlie Kaufman, like Noam Baumbach last year, and just those names.
The Irishman.
Martin Scorsese. So it's like but then when it's like as soon as they branch out outside of that stuff and just be like, what if we made 13 Reasons Why? And it's just like, oh no.
There's definitely an article from like 2017 that's just like 13 Reasons Why. 13 Reasons Why sucks. It's not like Variety or People.
13 Reasons Why. 13 Reasons Why is 13 reasons too many.
Garbage. But yeah. But hey, I'm not sure if you've ever seen a single thing featuring this next guy, Dave Chappelle. But if you saw the Instagram stand-up thing, or maybe read an article, but he basically was just like, yeah, I asked Netflix to take down the Chappelle Show because I'm not making a single penny from this.
It was so funny. Well, not funny, but I remember I saw the ad on Netflix being like, Chappelle Show is coming to Netflix on whatever day, and I was like, oh, that's cool. You know, I that's cool that like Dave got like the rights back for the show, and like, you know, and like they're doing this righteous thing with Netflix. I was all like, Dave's getting his money, and that's great. And then here I am watching Netflix, and then Dave made a joke on the SNL episode after the election where he was like, he's not getting any money from on Netflix, and I said, damn it. And then I immediately stopped watching because I was like, I'm not gonna watch this if it means like he's not gonna make money off of it, because I already kind of got the impression that Comedy Central was not treating him right based off of stuff that he said previously in other stand-up specials. And then he releases Unforgiven, and I'm like, well, this validates everything.
Yeah, the stand-up special 847 is also very good.
846. You're a second.
846. I'm terribly sorry.
I know, it's fine. My favorite Dave Chappelle special that he did on Netflix is The Bird Revelation. It's the one that he does in the small. I think it's just the Comedy Store in LA. It's just him just talking.
That's the one that like was probably really recent, and then it was like released a month later, right? Because like they were talking about
Me Too stuff.
Yeah.
At the time, Charlie Rose just got exposed, and that's where he does his big monologue about the Pimp book and how it relates to his experience doing Chappelle Show of Comedy Central.
Well, I like the one where he talks about OJ 4 times.
To bring it back to an earlier point.
To bringing it full circle. Nah, but he's great. And when I was growing up, like I would hear like things like like Dave Chappelle's like one of the greatest comedians of all time, and I didn't watch him because I was a sheltered white kid, and
Too
in
busy
high school,
watching Jeff Dunham, you know.
hey,
I
I'm not.
only say that because I was too watching Jeff Dunham.
I'm not happy that I watched Jeff Dunham.
I'm not happy either, man.
Mostly because I watched it back, and like, ugh, that's a Republican comedian. Like,
he is a Republican, isn't it? Isn't he?
I'm pretty sure he is. Like, it was like there was like some list where it was just like it wasn't Watch Mojo, but it was just like comedians you wouldn't expect a Republican. But I don't think he's like really Republican.
I mean, he has the whole puppet character of Walter, and Walter is definitely a Republican.
Yeah, but he also has a terrorist.
Yeah, I've always thought of that more as just like bless you. I've always thought of that more as just like a post 9/11 product, where it's like even people who were, because everybody was ready to be like, yeah, terrorism bad, and like
America good, terrorism bad. But yeah, no, but I used to like watch his stuff from like the 80s when he was in like clubs, and like he's funny. Just not he's not funny with puppets. But like his stand-up stuff by himself is quality, I think.
he was doing stand-up in the 80s.
He's been yeah, because I watched one of those biography things on like A&E like a while ago. So that's why I know this. He started doing ventriloquism because like he didn't have friends or he was bullied, maybe because he was maybe both. Because he was adopted, so like he was just like, yeah, I never really felt like I fit in. And so like he started doing ventriloquism like very early. And like he started doing it very young. And so he was on Carson, I'm pretty sure.
Wow.
It's Johnny Carson for anybody who isn't cultured.
Not Carson Daly.
Yeah. Hey, he's probably been on Carson Daly, to be honest. But he's he did that. There's like a long list of things. Like he used to bring in his ventriloquist to school picture day, so he was just like, professional picture, these are my headshots for like gigs. So, and like he says that in one of his specials, I'm pretty sure. But like his story is fascinating. And like it's the guy that I like, not like, because I don't think that I must have, because I was just like, haha, I get it. But now that I'm older and my comedy has become nuanced,
you're 22 years old and you're talking.
I told you I am a stand-up snob.
Yeah.
I have a comedy playlist that's like 32 hours, and that's only one of them. Like I regularly, like George Carlin was my 2019 most listened to artist.
Nice.
It was the Beatles this year, but like I really do listen to a lot of comedy. Like that's not like a bit. Yeah. Like I supreme, like Bob Saget, even though it's gross and I can't watch Full House the same anymore, and I don't watch Fuller House on principle because I can't watch Full House the same.
That's the favorite thing about Bob Saget. Just I know you're trying to finish a point, but like is just the fact that Bob Saget can do it all.
Yeah, and he does like music in his stand up. Like he like plays guitar. He does like power chords, but like it's not bad. It's exactly what you would expect Bob Saget guitar playing to be. We've been on long enough. From all of us here, specifically Devoid, and from all of us, I mean just me. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.
Goodbye.